Hi everyone, it's me Lily Devine. I'm back again in the part 2 of the makeup regime that I go through in changing me into Lily the character. In the first one you've seen how I blocked out my eyebrows, covered them up with the glue stick, the powder, put on a good solid base, and then I added the foundation and went through my entire routine. So in this one, we're actually going to go through the powder again, but to give us more of that look that I'm going for, which is highlight and your contour. But before we do and get into that there, please subscribe to the channel. I'm hoping to keep this coming forward for everybody so they can see maybe in the future more Halloween, although every day is Halloween at the Lily Devine house. Hit the bell button so you can keep up to date when I upload a new video, because these will be uploaded over time. Hopefully I'll get them all up tonight, which is October 15th. It's pretty late. Everybody is in bed sleeping except for the animals. They're kind of running around going nuts. That's just the way it is at our house. And give a thumbs up if you like it. So with that being said, let's get into everything else. So I've already gone through and I've laid down what I wanted. This portion right here that looks like almost like a handlebar or a chin strap of some sort. This is actually powder that I've put on because I want, where I had gone and blended through and put the powder on and then fluffed it away after it sat for a couple minutes, I actually wanted to make this more pronounced here. Just works with my face. I love it. Don't know why, but as you can see in my bathroom, on this side of me I have lights so you can see it down to the T. This side, as you can tell, it's starting to feminize, which is fantastic. And that's what you always have to remember, is that when you're in a club or wherever, not during the day, because you do have to soften everything so you look more feminine if you're into the gender specific illusion. So specific characters. I'm a drag queen, I do Bette Midler, but tonight that's not what it's about. I'm teaching you Drag 101. So let's get into the powder. Now, as you can see, I've already got everything on. If it looks like it's flaking away, don't worry about that, especially if it's muddy here. It is a warm night. It's been raining. It's been very muggy. So that powder has kind of sat there. Don't worry about it, because as I get going and I start to cool down, it will come off. And that's okay. So let's go in with a powder that you want to chisel your face out and soften a lot of the stuff. Now in this case, I'm going to use the light skin tone from Graftobian, because most of my product is from them. And no, my videos are not sponsored, unfortunately. I wish they were, but that's not the case. So going in and starting to chisel it out. As you can see, now I don't always go right up because I've already kind of blocked that out a bit. And I'm actually going to bring it up just a bit onto the nose so it kind of softens it. Like so. Now I am going back over my lip because I want that to be softened out. And I'm going to go up over here, because as that bakes and I'm putting on more contour, it's actually going to soften it a little bit more. So of course I'm going up relatively high compared to where I was before, and I'll actually bring it up just a bit more so I can soften it down. And because I have it on my chin, I'm going to go there. Now, as you know, in the last video, this does give you the Graftobian powder, especially the translucent, which is a white powder. It can actually constitute as a setting powder, because once you spritz some water on with the translucent, it'll actually seal. So that is always good. I actually learned that. I didn't know it did that. So as you can see, I got it all on. Now, I always shake the excess off because I don't want it to get all over the place. Although my kit in my bathroom is a very big mess right now. So I go in, now that I've got all that on, I'm actually going to go in with my contour pressed powder. Now in this case, it is just Wet n Wild, Goodbye, Hello, Flashback, Photo Focus pressed powder, and in this case it's Dark Cafe. So as you can see, like it's a darker color. Now, I had before used one of these, which is really good. This is just a quill brush. I'm not going to go through all the brushes because in my opinion, for myself, it really don't matter. If something works, use it. Now, I'm not going to go through with that, but what I am going to go through is just a smaller brush, pardon me, which is just this bamboo one that I have. And I'm just doing this, getting some of that product on there. And then I'm going in circular motion, because as you go through with the circular motion, it's actually grabbing a little bit of the highlight powder that I put on there, and it is starting to blend it in, so it's softening that line for you. See, it's starting to soften. Now you can't see it very well on this, on my right side, which is probably your left, but it is starting to soften. And like I said, practice makes perfect. What I'm doing might not work for you, but at least you have an idea, a grasp of what I'm doing. So see, we're just going in like that. See how this side is very softened now? And it's going to be the same thing underneath the chin, where I put that contour. Now normally I've already gone down my neck with the foundation. I've laid the powder on to set it in place, and I'll actually go in with this powder and just blend it down so it doesn't look like I have an Adam's apple. Now I do have an Adam's apple. It's not as pronounced as many men can be, but it is there. Now with this, when I go up by the ear, I make sure that the darkest I have is up here because I want that portion to be as soft as it's going to be. So I'll just go in and see how it's starting to soften out up here. Now at any time you want to pause this video, please feel free to do it. Now it does look like I've come down, but a lot of that powder you have to remember you've already put on there. So that powder is already on. Now you don't have to put any more on there. But what I like to do is I like to kind of just edge. I go in with an edge just to make sure that this is the most darkest spot. And then it blends up. Now I'm not going in like this. I'm actually just picking it up just by going in. I don't want too much product on there because it's going to actually transfer really well. I actually like this. It's very good for what I need it for. Now you see how it's starting to soften that side? Whereas this side you're seeing that you still see the man features of me. Whereas this side, it's starting to feminize. See, it's starting to feminize. So what I'm actually going to do is I was actually going in there because it kind of still is a little bit dark, but as you're looking on, like see this side, it's still the same on either side, but as you look at it, especially when you're in a club or a dark lit venue, your face is softened if somebody's looking at you straight on. Now to the side, you can still see it, but that will change as you start to put in more makeup. Now that I've had that all done, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna put that one down for now, and I'm going to grab, excuse me, a different brush. Now this is a smaller brush. Now I know it kind of looks like it's too thick to be going down my nose, but this is what works for me. Now you might find something that is going to be a lot easier for you. Use it. Practice makes perfect. So I'm actually gonna, the darkest spot I'm doing is going to be up here. See how it started to go down? Now, like I said, that's going to be my darkest spot because I don't want that bridge to be as prominent as it looks. Now, as I get going, I will blend it down more so it doesn't pop as much. That's why I use a little bit of a fluffier brush for this, because I don't want it to look too harsh. Now I go underneath. Now because of when I was going like this with the other brush, there's actually a lot of loose powder in there. So I can just go in and pick some of it up. Now I go under like this, and I bring it up. And I just start dragging it down. Now there's like I said, you're putting a little bit more on, but once you start to put it up here and you're dragging it down, it's moving it. It's not necessarily sticking it in one spot so you can see that darkness, but it's just moving it down. Now because there should be enough here, I'll actually go in and start to create that little bit of a brow bone for me. And sometimes you can actually get away with using your contour for your nose and that there to kind of start to map out and cut that crease for yourself. But what I like to do is just do that because I bring it down into the eye as well, like down here. And what that does is it just kind of makes it look more feminized for me. So you see how this looks? That's the way it's starting to look, and I'm liking the way it's going. Now, there might be a few spots you have to touch up, and that's fine. You can definitely do it. But as of right now, that is just about done. Now I'm gonna go back in, I'm gonna add more powder in here to soften where I blended up my contour, and that is going to set the base for when I go in to start doing my eyes. And sorry if I'm a little bit in the way. So as I said, I'm just going in, just going like this, and I'm adding a bit more. Now that is softening what is under there. And I can go in, and if I don't like it how it's going up, while I'm adding the powder on that I want to bake, I can actually go back in and just empty some of that out with a regular brush. So as I said, a little bit on the tip. Because I've already got the contour on either side of my nose, I can go up with that. Now I don't drag it, I tap it into place. So I can go like that, and I'm done. Now at this point, I can actually go in as well, and if I want to make this more prominent, I can definitely do that. You just go in with more powder and add it. But in this case, I don't really want that, but I do want it up here, just because I want that spot to pop out. And remember too, when you're doing all this stuff, It's easier to add more to kind of correct the issue than it is to take away. Because once you start putting it on, it really doesn't come off unless you wipe it off. And then you spit it into your eye. It does hurt. So as I said, Grafdobian, this is just my loose powder stuff. I use the translucent that you've seen, which also comes in a tub like this. It is 141 grams, 5 ounces. It's actually quite a bit. It'll last you a while. I've been using this for 6 years now. And I'm sure it is past its date, but because it is in a sealed container and it's usually put away, it shouldn't go bad for quite a while. You do want to use it up as much as possible. I've actually given quite a bit away because I knew I wasn't going to use a lot of it. Now it's getting low. I might look for something else, but I usually stick with what I know, and this is what I know. Any product will work. You might want to play around with it. Like I said, practice does make perfect. But other than that, as you can see, it's starting to feminize. You see how it's starting to feminize? So it's giving that. It's not that pronounced John that I had before. It's really feminizing it. Now, of course, I'm getting older, so you do see this. But as I put on highlight, my blush and everything, it gives me the apples of the cheeks. So with that being said, the next video is actually going to be me doing my eyes and my lips. And I believe something else. No. Eyes and lips, and then we'll do the finishing touches to the face, and you'll see how it looks. So check y'all later. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with all this stuff. The Drag Queen 101, make sure you hit the bell button so you're really kept up to date and you do get the notifications. And if you like it, give a thumbs up. Thanks.